Okay, so I wanted to talk about Cisco and compare it to NVDA. NVIDIA is the poster child of the AI bubble right now. I guess I shouldn't say bubble, but is the poster child for AI. And Cisco was the same back in the dot com bubble. So, what I have up in front of me is Cisco, and here's 2000. Everyone talks about 2000. Um, Going back a while here, so this is 99. So, you could see that Cisco, this was at $18 a share, $20 a share, 2021. And then in 99, late 99, it went up almost what? 100% in a year. So the peak, $54, the trough somewhere down here, under 10. Massive decline. So let's look at some of the similarities between what the Cisco and NVIDIA charts have in common. And let's look at how you could possibly see when the NVIDIA chart may be a sell. Okay, so the daily chart, we'll look at the weekly and the monthly. Now, the daily chart has some interesting things here. The peak, as we know, is March 2000. Look at the 200-day moving average. It didn't ever stop sloping upwards. And when it did stop sloping upwards and paused, it was about right here. That was October of 2000. Well, the Cisco chart was already past its peak and well beyond us. So, clue number one would be take a look at the 200-day moving average. If it's upward sloping, fine. Once it peaks and starts to decline, get out of the way. Okay. Second thing we can look at, and this is a very interesting way to look at a lot of risk management for indices too. When your 10-day moving average crosses below your 200-day moving average. So this red bold line is a 10-day moving average, and the 200-day is right here. So this point right here in September of 2000 was when the 10-day crossed the 200-day moving average. And look what happened. It never looked back. Death cross, I guess you could say. This is I guess point number two. Maybe these don't coincide in the future, but when your 10-day crosses below the 200, nothing good's going to happen from there. So there's indice number three. I want to take a look at the weekly chart now, and I hope that this doesn't lose its time frame. Yeah, it did. I have to go back to the time frame in the weekly. Bear with me as I change this. 1999 to 2001. So as you zoom out, the chart gets easier and easier to look at major trends. Okay? So take a look at what happened right here on the weekly chart. For the first time, your MACD crossed, the signal line crossed below the smoothing line, or however you want to mention that. Okay? It literally marked the top. You also see the death blow candle here through the 10-day, through the 200-day moving average. Sorry, that's the 10-day through the 20-day. It did kind of regain its traction, but it never really broke across. Right here, it broke across in June of 2000. Well, your 200-day moving average was still kind of downward sloping, and some guys talk about the MACD needing to cross up. You can fast forward here to April of 01, where the MACD crossed up. It looked like it bottomed. So on the weekly chart, you want to watch for the price to be above the 10-week moving average, and you could have ridden this all the way up here, maybe above the 20-day moving average. But once it broke down with some severe velocity, that was your tell that the party might have stopped. Okay? And you had all this bouncing around. There wasn't really a tell to get back in. Your MACD was still down, and these lines were still crossed in the function that you wouldn't want to buy. Your 200-day starts to roll over and it's flat, and this price action is kind of just nothing. Okay? Now, lastly, let's look at the monthly. I'm again going to have to go back here. I'm sorry. So 99, and let's look at 2001. Okay, so this, look how much better this chart looks on the monthly. You have your 10-month moving average in red. It basically tested it here, this big death blow I talked about. But when it finally crossed the 10-month moving average and the MACD cross, which is right here in September of 00, again, that was your sign. So you could see that there's many different periods of exhaustion signals in here if you're looking. And if you watch in these charts, there's just no reason to buy, until again, when I talked about on the weekly chart, you could see some kind of price stabilization down here. Okay, so you have a lot of symbols, a lot of signs to look at NVIDIA. And let me flip there. How's the chart looking? Now let's start with the daily. We'll scan through all of the charts on the daily. And let's take a look.